The leader of the unregistered party Alga, Vladimir Kozlov, is still serving his 15-day sentence in the Almaty detention ward, while another oppositionist, Aynur Kurmanov, was released from there on Wednesday. Our crew was present at the scene.
It is virtually tradition for the Almaty law enforcement agencies to jail Aynur Kurmanov following every protest action he initiates. His third term this year ended on Wednesday, while in total Kurmanov has been convicted for more than 10 times. Currently, the activist avoids giving comments on this matter. While in his cell, Kurmanov went on hunger strike to object the imprisonment, but upon exiting jail, told his friends and colleagues the protest is over.
I don't consider myself guilty, as this was purely a political order to isolate me during May holidays.
The activist of the Socialist Resistance and leader of public organizations Talmas and Kazakhstan 2012 works with so-called protesting groups of the population. Among them are deceived shared construction interest holders, mortgage borrowers and residents of districts scheduled for demolishing. The Almaty court sentenced Kurmanov to 15 days in jail for organizing a rally in front of Timir Bank and inciting people to join it. At the same time, Kurmanov says that he participated in these actions not as an organizer, but journalist, which means that he's being prosecuted for performing his professional duties. He will no longer tolerate the role of the scapegoat and will soon file a petition to the prosecutor office to reconsider the Almaty court decision, as well as complain to the United Nations Committee.
The situation with torture within Kazakh penitentiary system was brought up by the coalition of domestic NGOs, as their representatives asked the authorities to follow the recommendations of international experts. In response, the Justice Ministry spokesman said the necessary reforms have been already initiated.
In his reports, Manfred Novak, the Speaker of the UN Committee Against Torture, reflected quite critically on the penitentiary system of Kazakhstan. Last year, he visited a number of correctional facilities and compiled a report on the situation with torture.
Both dry and wet submarines are used, as well as the famous Palestinian hanging and the turtle when a person is placed in an unnatural pose and it is hard for him to move.
The families of Oleg Yevloev and Dmitry Tyan spoke about the outrageous facts of torture during the press conference. Both men were found guilty of murdering a woman and her 3 children. Relatives of the convict claimed that the investigation was rigged, as confessions were received through the brutal tortures.
Names of the torturers are known, but none of them was punished. Oleg complained about tortures and other humiliations to the deputy of the city prosecutor, who ignored it completely.
Manfred Novak suggested Kazakhstani officials to hold an amnesty because local penitentiary facilities are already overcrowded. Convicts in cell have to sleep in turns. The experts also suggest to create an independent body for the prevention of tortures. The Justice Ministry is already busy with working on the response to the recommendations.
Manfred Novak reported on the necessity to create a special monitoring mechanisms for issues concerning tortures. The plan for this mechanism was designed together with the National Security Committee, Prosecutor's Office and Financial Police.
On February 1st, the government of Kazakhstan approved a 3-year plan for the implementation of the recommendations received from the international expert.
On the eve of the World Day of Remembrance and Compassion to HIV/AIDS victims, marked annually on the 3rd Sunday of May, NGO members in Pavlodar organized an action to build better awareness and remind the population about the deadly virus.
Every year, the 3rd Sunday of May is marked as the World Day of Remembrance and Compassion to AIDS victims. In the town of Pavlodar, the minute's silence was observed during the workday to increase the awareness among the town residents.
Events like this are needed to create awareness and for the prevention of HIV/AIDS among people. This is our key objective, to decrease the spreading of the disease.
The event was held at the local rehab center for the drug addicts, who are considered to be at the top of the risk group. Officially, there are 4,000 drug addicts in Pavlodar only, and 1/3 of them are HIV positive. During the open doors, medical staff provided the center visitors with free consultations on HIV preventing and gave guidelines on safe communication with HIV positive people.
There are ways for safe communication, and everyone should know all the details about the virus.
Activists commemorated the dead by planting new trees. The HIV/AIDS Victims Remembrance Day is marked around the world since the mid-80s, after the death of very first victim of the disease.
We need this as a reminder of what we're dealing with and how cruel the nature of the disease is. Everyone is in the risk group, from infants to heavy drug users.
Estimated 15,000 people worldwide die because of HIV/AIDS annually. For the past 14 years, 800 people have died in Kazakhstan.
Healthcare Minister Jaksalik Doskaliyev ignored the previously scheduled meeting with the staff of the Skin and Venereal Disease Institute due to a busy schedule. Nevertheless, the fired without dismissal pay personnel are planning to continue the struggle for their rights. The following report has more on the scandal.
Why are we being singled out? So many questions and no answers at all.
The staff of the sealed Skin and Venereal Disease Institute was expecting some answers from the healthcare minister, Jaksalik Doskaliyev. The schedule for the evening meeting did take place, however the minister chose to ignore it.
If our minister and the government are wrong in thinking, we will give up.
The building occupied by the only field institute of the country became the key point of the dispute at the end of the last year. The operation of the facility was stopped by the court decision, supposedly due to this fire safety violation. However, the fired with no dismissal pay personnel believes that said defect can be easily fixed. Moreover, the institute still has yet to see $135,000 allocated from the state budget for the renewal purposes. The currently acting director, Amangeldi Dusukeyev, avoids giving comments on that matter.
I've not called for you, and I no longer have any intention of talking with the press.
For some reasons, the institute is now being placed on the financial budget of the medical university. This issue was the key point on the agenda of the meeting with the healthcare minister, who never showed up, citing busy schedule. He, however, found time to attend an exhibition in Almaty on the next morning, but had nothing to say about the situation.
We found out that it is better to finance the institute using budget money.
While the ministry is busy working on some important issues, patients with skin and venereal diseases were placed in the cardiology department, violating fundamental sanitary regulations. Instead of required 165 beds, only 40 were made available to them.
These were all the latest updates from Kazakhstan. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.